feel like I'm Dr. Strange. Man in the mirror, will you ever change? I talk to the people, I talk to the righteous. Cut him in half, he look like a hyphen. Look like a hyphen. God Zeus, he got lightning. God Zeus, why you fighting? God Zeus, did you see him? I walk out of Tyson's with the Louis V trunk. Look inside that, it's a big pump. Look at that shit, get you shit took. I was the one get your shit shut. I was the one keep my shit tucked. Then I listen to in the bench truck.
Right, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the Let Me Speak podcast. And as always, y'all know the deal. As always, I am your host, D Asia. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It is a beautiful Friday out here in LA, and that song y'all just heard was called "Star of David" by my amazing, talented guest today. Got rapper, professor, spiritual scientist, and owner of You and I Verse from PG County, Maryland. What is going on, y'all? Give it up for my man, God Zeus. God Zeus, what's going on with you?
What's going on? What's going on? I'm just, happy to be here. I'm just
Right,
happy to be outside, wake up every
right,
day, look at the sun, and remember where I come from.
right. We back outside.
Exactly,
Um,
exactly.
all right, so go ahead and just start off with telling us a little bit about that song. What's up with that song?
Yeah. So yeah, what's up with that song? So like, a lot of my music, specifically content-wise, is really I like to, speak on spiritual things,
Right.
Judeo-Christian, Islamic theology, things revolving around those religions, and I like to show people how we're all really connected spiritually.
Mhm.
And sometimes I mention different religions and stuff like that in my music, but it's mostly focused on Islam, Judaism, Christianity. But the Star of David song, if you know, the Star of David is like the symbol of Judaism.
Right.
um, I was just one day in the studio. My brother Spizzled and another producer that I rock with heavy 2C. They laid the track down, or they laid the beat down, and I was just feeling a certain way. So like we started off the song. How did I say? I'm seeing some angels and demons like Constantine, right?
Right. I
So
like
if
that.
we're familiar with Constantine, John Constantine from the comics, he was like a spirit detective, and he was the one who possessed magic and was able to see angels and demons and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Exodus 19:10-13, I think that's the verse where God is telling Moses, "Don't let the people come to the mountain, or they'll be put to death," and stuff like that. So there's a lot of references into that song, and specifically, a lot of people who've commented on my Instagram, they like to mention the part where I'm saying Hebrew Israelite, look in the sky for the living light, and I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a Jew, but the knowledge I got, I know a thing or two. So yeah,
Um,
yeah.
just, tying into that, we're just gonna start getting to it right now. Tying into what you
Hmm.
said about, how you said in your song, "I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Hebrew, I'm not a Jew." Um, I wanna ask you, do you think? Well, obviously, I'm pretty sure what your answer is gonna be, but I want you to elaborate on how I feel we as Black people, as a community, we do feel that growing up, majority of the time we're raised to be Christian and believe in, God. So now
Hmm.
that we're older, and we have our own way of thinking, and it's a lot different from how our parents and our grandparents think and
Yeah.
thought. Do you feel that though we as Black people, we have to be Christians, or that we should be Christians, or does being Black mean you're a Christian?
Well, if you're Christian, you're just a follower of, Jesus Christ, or Yeshua, as the Hebrews pronounce him, which means like Jehovah saves.
Hmm.
Um, but being Black, or specifically African American, it's not necessary that you have to be Christian. History has shown that Christianity was one of the tools that actually did put African Americans into bondage, but it's only because that knowledge that we had back then was wiped away. If you look through history, you can see the people who are the keepers of history. They're the ones who had access to the archives. They're the ones who could take away history and alter it to the way they want. And there's so many different verses in the chapters in the Bible where you can you can misinterpret it and you can use it to, brainwash people. But I mean, at the same time, it's in every holy book. If a person who's like smooth with the mouth, they can, if depending on their state of mind and the type of person they are, they can use verses from there and try to dissuade people to do evil instead of being righteous. So I don't necessarily think that Black people have to be Christian, but I feel that we should just be in tune with the fact that there's an energy going around that we can't see, and we just have to be in tune with that and respect it. Right. And ultimately, I say that energy is love. So, and we can get more into it as we go on, but yeah, let's keep it going. Yeah.
We definitely will. But so before we do get into the meat of everything, I want you to go ahead and tell our listeners who a little bit more about you. So we know who you are. We know you got Zeus from Maryland, but what does that mean to be God Zeus, to be a professor, to be a spiritual scientist? What does that mean?
Yeah, so well, I actually am I have experience as a college professor actually teaching oral communication and public speaking. Okay. But the spiritual science, that's more so focused on being able to understand the acts of the spirit. Like I said, people often use spirit and soul as interchangeable, but spirit is that like I said, going back to that feeling, that energy that we can't see, but it's there, right? That energy that you see when you see your husband or your wife. Right. You see them and you just feel that energy, right? When you see your siblings, when you see your mom, when you see your dad, when you see your friends, that energy that you see when you see other people doing good. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean by spiritual scientist. I try to hone in on that by just like looking at different religions and like philosophy and seeing how all these correlate.
Okay. So with that, how did you get into that? So how was it like for you, growing up? What led you to you to get there? And I also want to tie that into, with you being a rapper. With you being a rapper, and again, what I always say on my show, just the basis of this show is to shine light on how media thinks of Black rappers. And just from the little bit of time we've been talking, I can already tell and see how smart and wise, and
thank you so much. I try. I mean, I really try.
But that just goes back to just show how like I said, how I want to portray my Black man who rap. So yeah, so just go ahead and tell us about how did you become this? How did you get to this? How was your upbringing?
Okay, so yeah, I'm the eldest of three. I have two younger brothers. I mentioned one of them before, Spizzle. He's my youngest brother. And then I have another brother who comes right after me, who's Manny Velli. They are both producers. They work with many artists in the DMV area and really across around the world. And I always tell people these are the most lit guys I know. Like, these are the craziest guys ever, Like, I wouldn't be able to do half of the stuff that I've been able to do if it wasn't that I had to lead my brothers and be a good example. We went to Catholic school, then eventually we moved to public school. And I will always say, going to a Catholic school, first, it taught me values and like work ethic. And kind of, since it's like religion based, I had a different understanding of authority. But kind of around the sixth grade, my parents decided, hey, maybe you guys should try public school. Right?
I don't mean to cut you off, but that's crazy. Yeah. I had the same story. I went to private school. It was a Christian school, not Catholic, but up until the fifth grade, and then sixth grade, my dad, and he's like, no, you need to try public school. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, it's so crazy because
that story.
No, yeah, it's crazy because you really see that there's almost two worlds. Like, it's like I was ignorant or I was naive to what like life really was. So, I'm seeing in private school, I'm seeing in Catholic school, like just regular. I'm seeing people middle class, kind of upper class, they're able to afford sending their kids there, my mom, my dad, like my dad is a professor, so I that's where I got that from. But I'll get into that. My mom, she's a nurse, so we were able to make things shake. You know, they did what they did to be able to provide that type of education for us. But then we eventually moved to public school, and then public school, it really showed me that everything that you thought you knew in private school was just one faceted. It was just almost like this literally the smallest midget of what's really going on in the world.
Yes.
So I really learned about like I guess street culture. I used to listen to rap when I was in Catholic school, but I wouldn't say where I grew up was it was like it's not suburbs, but it's just like a regular neighborhood, like it's quiet. People are there playing basketball. I used to skateboard, stuff like that. Like there wasn't, I mean, uh, there was, there's static everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So, but it wasn't like so crazy where we had to like jump out the house or like jump off the porch, on the street. You know what I'm saying? That type
Yeah,
of
no,
thing.
I hear you. I hear you. I feel you.
Yeah, but when I got to public school is when I really noticed and I really learned like, oh, no, there's like a lot of stuff going on and stuff like that. But um, yeah, public school was just like a whole nother experience. So doing kindergarten to sixth grade private and then doing everything else, middle school, high school, public was like, that was literally the best thing that could have happened for me. But I don't even think I was really ready for it because, at Catholic school, you're just kind of,
You're a little more sheltered.
yeah, you're a little more sheltered. But then like public school, you have the first instance of actually being who you are. Like you actually have that more freedom. Like there's not that, oh, like settle. It's like, whoa, I get to be me, right?
Mhm.
So me, I was kind of like the class clown and things like that, just trying to make everybody laugh, trying to make everybody have a good time and stuff like that. I had okay grades. I mean, I wasn't so much focused on school, even though my dad was in academics. I was just more so focused on like people and their energy when I was younger. And then that transitioned to public school because I didn't know anybody in public school. Like this is like my first time stepping in like to the jungle. I felt like Tarzan. You know what I'm saying? Like I was really just everything was so new to me. And then, just seeing like street culture, that's when I was really introduced to like seeing gangs, like people I like in my circle, not my well, people I was around were like related to gangs, everything going crazy. And this time there were so many different things happening in my high school. Like I thank the Most High every day, like that I made it out. A lot of people who went to who I grew up with, they've gone on to do different things, but it's just unfortunate. But speaking into like my spirituality and speaking into how I even got into this frame of thought. So, like I said, our private school was Catholic school. So we had there was a church on the campus of the school, right? So every Friday there would be a Friday mass. So there's that thing you're gonna mass and things like that. So you're just there. You're not really. They're teaching you like the Bible. Like that's a part of the classes. Like that's part of your schedule.
Memorize Bible verses, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't necessarily memorize Bible verses until I started getting older on like my own time.
No,
you know what I'm saying? It was weird. Yeah, it was weird. They would always tell me, or we would always be hearing these stories of like the Bible and things like that. But it didn't really resonate with me. Like, and it's crazy because my brothers and I, we actually served mass. So if you're familiar with Catholicism, you have the priest and then you have like altar servers. So you had like the priest would bring in the procession, and then myself and my younger brothers, I would be like the one literally carrying the cross, and my two younger brothers would be like candle bearers. So I was like low-key deep in like Catholicism, kind of confirmed, all that type of stuff. But as I got older, it's like it wasn't meshing with how I was feeling spiritually. So when I got introduced to public school, I really got introduced to like other world religions. Because you can go to a Catholic school and think like, Christianity, like that's it. Like you're not even seeing that other people are believing in a different way. Right. So when I got to high school, I was really having like a spiritual battle. Like I didn't